Well, it's a far cry from the promises that Boris Johnson made in the election last year, where, if you remember, he said he had an oven-ready deal, which was based on the withdrawal agreement and the political declaration that was signed with the European Union. Well, there's not much sign of that deal, really, is there? So I think we should be very concerned, because if we do reach October without agreement or with a suboptimal agreement, then the economic impact on top of the difficulties that we're going to face with coronavirus are going to be very serious for jobs and the economy.
You say kind of a suboptimal agreement. Presumably that is realistically the greater threat. Nobody seriously believes that the two sides don't want to get some kind of a deal, because neither side would benefit from a kind of a no-deal exit from the European Union. On that basis, both sides will have to shift a bit, won't they, before the end of the year? And you might not get a perfect arrangement. You might not get the arrangement you would particularly like, but you will get something.
I think you're probably right that there is an imperative for both sides, because the idea of leaving the transition without agreement is very serious indeed, particularly for the UK economy. But we need to look very carefully at the nature of the deal. The promise that the Prime Minister made last year was for something which was offered tariff-free trade, it offered barrier-free trade, it offered a protection for workers' rights and for the environment. And what seems to be happening, and the problem seems to be, that the government is backtracking on all of those commitments that it made both to the European Union and to the British people.
I mean, that's presumably one of the practical difficulties here, isn't it? If there's an element of distrust on either side, it makes that side less willing to kind of make a compromise or offer something. But isn't there also a practical issue here that, in a sense, with these kinds of negotiations, what the officials do is they kind of lay out the framework and they haggle a bit. But in the end, trade negotiations are always resolved at ministerial level. So until the big beasts, as it were, get involved, we're not going to crack it, are we?
Well, I think that's probably true. And part of the problem is, and we've seen it with the A-level crisis this last week, that the Prime Minister has a very hands-off approach. Now, back in June, he met with the Presidents of the European Commission, the Council and the Parliament to try to move things forward, but there doesn't seem to have been much progress since then. And he really needs to get a grip of the process, as he does indeed with the crisis facing our school students.